All right, hi, this is Peter Flynn from Roxbury High School. I'm recording this video to show people how to use Turnitin, how to sign up for Turnitin, how to create classes, and how to create assignments. First thing you do is you log in up at the top, put your username and your password, and this will bring up your classes up at the top. Here's some classes that I had last year. They haven't yet gone inactive, but they should soon. At the bottom here are my new classes. I like to create a test class at the bottom. This way I can experiment, mess around, try different things without messing up my normal classes. Okay, you're looking at the instructor view. If you have an instructor account, you also have a student account. You can switch it up at the top. What I like to do is I like to put myself in as a student in each one of my classes, so I can upload a paper and I can show them a student paper, show them what the originality report looks like on screen without using a student paper. Okay, so here I just clicked add class. I have a standard class here. That's what you're going to do most of the time. You're going to have the best way I found is to use the year, the period, and the type of class it is. The enrollment password just below, you don't want to keep them out. You want to make sure that they can find it and that they can upload, or that they can enroll in the class. I usually use my last name and the block number, but whatever works for you, something simple. And then just below you have the class end date. Right now it's set to March. I don't know why it defaults to that. It doesn't make any sense. Just change it to the end of June. Just that way there's no problems in the future. Click submit and you would have just created your class. Okay, I'm going to go back because I don't need it anymore. And there is the class page. So now you can see what the classes look like. Now create a new assignment. I already have this assignment in period 1 and period 4. I'm creating it for period 6. Okay, so I'm going to click on block 6 or period 6. I just click add assignment. The basics are pretty, well, basic. Okay, assignment title. For this case, I'm going to be doing my college essay rough draft. Once I start typing COL, it shows up. I just click on it. Point value, it's a rough draft. I'm making it something like 20 points. On the right, I have the start date, which is going to default to today. So that's the time I recorded this. The due date is obviously when it's due. Okay, so I found that it works to make it due when the bell rings for that period. Obviously, it's up to you, but I found that works really well for me. So if somebody decides to stay home, they don't get extra time, et cetera, et cetera. It's really easy to follow. And then the post date is going to be when students are going to be able to see their grades. So they'll be able to see the comments that you made. They'll be able to see their grades. So in this case, what I did is I'm going to make it 2 days after the due date. If I decide that I don't have enough time to read through all these, I'm not going to give them tremendous feedback on this because it's a rough draft, tremendously detailed. And so I'm just clicking it 2 days after. I can always change this if I decide I need more time. For the research paper, normally I put this way off in the future, and then once everything's done, I go and just backdate it, so as soon as I'm done, they can go see it. Here I click on optional settings. I'm going to show you all the ones here. Here you can enter special instructions. I usually leave this blank, but if you want to put something there, go for it. You can see those blue dots. You hover over it and it'll tell you what each one does if you forget. Allow submissions after the due date. I always put yes. You can tell it's late. You can mark it down. But if you want to, tell them it's after due date is 0, then you can do that too. So you click that right there, yes or no. Originality report. Okay, most of the things you're going to generate originality reports. Sometimes you might choose not to, but you're usually going to default to yes. Otherwise, you are never going to see it if it doesn't generate it. Right below, it has generate originality reports for student submissions. For us, we're going to put immediately, and they're going to be allowed to resubmit. Okay, so they'll be able to see it right away. But here's the catch. They will only get a new originality report every 24 hours. So if they just try to upload 5 different versions, they're only going to get 2 if they do it within a 24-hour period. They're only going to get 2 originality reports. And, hopefully they'll do it if they see that they made a mistake. They can change it, hopefully, before before it turns into plagiarism, if they forgot to cite something or something like that. That's what it's intended for. Okay, just below you have exclude bibliographic materials. So if you want to make it so it doesn't flag their works cited page as unoriginal, you can do that. That might save a little bit of time. It's up to you. And then the same thing, you have exclude quoted materials. You also have exclude small matches. Things like this right here are probably personal preference. It's up to you. Mess around, see which one you like, see if it makes a difference. The really important one here is allow students to see originality report. You have to click yes on this because that's what we decided as a department. Okay, so you click yes. They are going to be able to see what you see when I show you what it looks like on the next part of this video. This stuff is pretty standard, this whole area right here. You're going to leave it the way it is. I don't think you ever have to change that. You can attach a rubric to this. It comes with some standard rubrics. It comes with 3 different types of rubrics for each one of 2 grade levels together, 9th and 10th. Below you have 11th and 12th. Those are Common Core rubrics, so it's already aligned with the Common Core standards, so that can be helpful if you're trying to assess those standards. You can also make your own rubrics by clicking on Rubric Manager. If you notice below, you can see I made one for myself for last year, Dawn Paper rubric. When we get to the grading, you can see what that'll look like on the screen. I remember it being pretty self-explanatory. Okay, ETS, this could be a cool feature, but it never really worked the way that it's supposed to. They're supposed to be checking grammar automatically, and they can let you know if there's a problem, but I've found it not to work very well. Maybe they made improvements to it. Hopefully it'll be better down the road, but last year it wasn't working very well. Try it out for yourself, do a test assignment, see if you like it. You can click yes or no, pretty standard. And then below, you can default to these options in the future. So if you made any changes, you click that, you hit submit, and you have now created your assignment. So you see it right there, college essay rough draft. All the stuff that we talked about before is right there. Okay, so that's what your assignment looks like. You can change any of this at any time by going to more actions on the right. On the left, you have the start date, you have the due date, you have the post date. So double check all those, make sure they're right. Next to it, you have status. So you can see right now there's 11 students in this class enrolled and turn it in. That number should be higher. So for example, I have 26 in a class. I always put myself in, so it should say 27. So most assignments for me should say 26 out of 27 by the time I turn it in. There you go. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you what an assignment looks like when you check it as an instructor. Okay, so I'm clicking on one of my classes that I have an assignment in. This is a test assignment. I did it over the summer to test it. So you can see that there's 2 assignments here, test assignment, ignore. I didn't want my students to think that they had to upload anything. One thing I tested out is if a student uploads an assignment, and then they have another assignment, like say a rough draft final draft situation where it's 2 separate turn-in assignments. Like I'm going to create a college essay final draft that would be separate. We were a little bit worried, is that going to flag it as exactly the same if they don't make any changes? It turns out it doesn't. So I think what it does is it ignores things written by the same or uploaded by the same user. Either way it works. There's no problem there. Okay, so if you want to take a look at the assignment, you click View. And here's all that stuff. We'll go over that in a second. If you missed it, it's right here. You click on View, and you can take a look at the assignment. On the right, you could have clicked, you can edit it, you can delete it. You can also submit a paper for a student. So say they're having trouble uploading. All they have to do is email it to you, and you can upload it. You can upload it for them. Shouldn't be a problem, but just eliminates one more excuse that they might have as to why they couldn't submit it. Okay, so I click on View. So there's the assignment. Okay, so this little arrow here is saying that the assignment I submitted had a very large works cited page. So it's giving me an error message about that. Everything's fine, but it's telling me I should change the way I look at it. You can choose to or not to. That probably won't apply very often. So here's the similarity number. I can see it's 31%. This is a research paper, so that's not really that strange. If we're a college essay and it said 31%, there's probably something wrong, because at the most you might have a quote, maybe, and nothing else should be similar. So any number over, 5 would be probably pretty sketchy there. Maybe 10. Depending on how short they write it, because now there's no minimum for a college essay. That changed. So they give you a green, yellow, and red little color coding system, so you can just check at a glance and see which ones you want to look at right here. Okay, next to it you have the grade. You have their response, so you can check and see if they have actually taken a look at this. So did they blow it off, or did they actually look at the feedback you gave them? That could be helpful, to use. If they uploaded it and say if there's formatting errors, you can click right here and get the file. You can download the original file that they upload. So you can check and see if maybe there's a problem when they uploaded it, or if it was in the original file they uploaded. That could help out later. Okay, so you click on the title, and it's going to give you the place where you can grade. And you can see the originality report. It gives you the splash screen right here. At the bottom left, you can click Don't Show This Again. And there you go. So papers on the left, most of the stuff you're going to use for grading is on the right. I can drag this slider a little bit, make the paper a little bit bigger. This is a paper I handed in college a long time ago. Up at the top, you have originality, you have grade mark, and peer mark. For this one, we're going to use originality so we can see what that report looks like. So I clicked up at the top left, and now everything's red instead of blue. So it's all color coded. There you go. Okay, so you scroll down and you find this section that is highlighted. Okay, so in 2003, following the terrorist attacks of September 11th on United States soil, it's not too surprising that I would use this phrase and that somebody else would use this phrase. Okay, so even though it's not a quotation, I'm not stealing this. I'm not plagiarizing. This is a natural phrase for somebody to use. Not a big deal. If you scroll down a little bit more, you'll see the next one that's also the same thing. It's not too surprising that more than one person would say this. Now, if you have like a lot in a row with just a couple words different, that's one thing you want to look at. But here's what it looks like if they copy and paste something. Okay, so what I did is I uploaded this before and I re-uploaded it after copying and pasting in this entire paragraph from the internet. You can see how the entire thing's highlighted. There's no citation here. There's no quotation marks. This is clearly just uploaded from the internet. This is clearly copied and pasted. And this is a clear example of plagiarism. So yeah. If you click on this number here, it will show you the text that is highlighted in red. It'll show you before and after, so you can see the context. If you click on full source view, it'll show you all of the text there. It'll show you the entire article, so you can take a look at that. Sometimes it'll say submitted to another school. There's a way that you can contact the teacher and see if they will let you see that paper. Sometimes they'll say no. Sometimes they'll just ignore it. But if it's something that was uploaded to the internet, you can definitely see it. Obviously, if it's a teacher in the school, that would be a lot easier than if it was a teacher at another school. Okay. A lot of times the other schools will come up if you leave the works cited page eligible to be looked at for this. Okay, so here's an example of a quote. Okay, most of this is highlighted. It's all straight, highlighted straight through. But you can see there's a quotation mark before. There's a quotation mark after. And this comes from Dostoevsky. I mentioned him at the beginning of the sentence. I meant that he's the one writing this. At the end of this, I said that it's from page 272. So this is cited. It's fine. There's nothing wrong here. If I keep going down, same thing, another quote, same thing cited. It's cited properly. Everything's fine. Again, I use the author name in the beginning, so the author name is not in the parentheses, but everything is fine there. This is what a block quote looks like. Okay, so everything is good here. Block quote format, set off, according to Michalski, so it's obvious it's a block quote. So of course it's going to be highlighted. That's not a surprise. So that's not plagiarism. So this is what the originality report looks like. Your student will see this. Your student will see everything that you're seeing right now. So now if we want to grade, we click on grade mark at the top. So now everything turns blue instead of red. Awesome. Okay, so if I scroll down, I can start grading. So say I scroll down and say I see that there's a comma splice. Okay, it's not, but just play along. So I highlight the text with my mouse. I go over here and I click on CS. Okay, if you see at the bottom, it'll show you what it looks like. So if you're not sure that it's the right button, it'll say comma splice. You can also drag it up like I just did, so it's a little bit out of the way of the text. Now, if I had done this on a paper version, what I'd do is I'd circle it, I'd write CS, and I might have to write a sentence, to explain what it is. Here, it's right there. It does it for me. It tells the student what a comma splice is. It tells them how to fix it. Basically, look at how much more feedback it gives them. And it took, 3 seconds to do that? So that's really helpful. Over here on the right is all your quick marks. There's a whole bunch that are already made for you. I made my own Flynn standard, which is a lot of the stuff that I end up using. I just put in here. In just a second, I'll show you, you can actually make your own. So if you see some of these like don't announce conclusion, that doesn't come with a program. I made that myself because I got tired of writing it. So on the right, you have all your quick marks. You can just drag them over without highlighting if you want to. Now you can make your own comments. So if I highlight and I click the left mouse button, it'll give me my own comment box. I enter the comment in here. I put whatever I want. I can move it around. If I wanted to save it as a new quick mark, I would click it. That's how I did don't announce conclusion. I just click save. I can also change the color of the highlight. It's going to default to yellow, as you can see right now. On the left is blue. On the right is purple. I think there's pink, and maybe that's a light blue a little bit to the left right there. So you can see there's blue, there's purple. Okay, different colors. I can cancel it, so say I didn't really want it. Say if I want to get rid of this, I hover over, I click it, and I click the trash can. Now it's gone. So that's quick marks. So as you can see, you can go through relatively quickly and give them feedback very quickly and give them better feedback. If you click on the button on the bottom right next to the quick mark box, you will see you can edit text. You can give them a text comment. So this would be the equivalent of, a comment at the end. You can also do a voice comment up at the top. I skipped the button that just has all the quick marks, and the button right there will give you it'll give you your rubric if there's one attached. So you can see this one is attached right here. You can see the different things. I could just click on it here. If I click this button, it will allow me to see the entire rubric. So I'll get to see all the different criteria for each section. This is helpful if you didn't create the rubric yourself. And just like on the other section, all you have to do is click. So if it's a 5, you click 5. In this case, let's say, for example, let's say it's a 3 and a 2, and no, I changed it to a 5, and now that's a 4 and a 3 and a 2, and you just click it, and then you click Apply Rubric Percentage to Grade, and it will do it for you. So when you're uploading your own rubrics, I like to do something like a matrix. So like for the college essay, the final version, it will be 100 points divided up into 5 categories. Each one's 20 points. So say for organization, say if it's fantastic, I can just click 20, 19, 18, 17, etc. And then when I click apply, then it will just grade it for me. So that's pretty easy. You don't have to go back and forth. Also, say this student got an extra point for extra credit, or I don't know, being awesome. I would click 73. And no, I don't give students extra credit for being awesome. They have to actually do something. So that's it. Thanks for watching this video. There's also a really great iPad app. It's in beta right now, but it seems to be working pretty well. What you can't do with the iPad app is you can't create assignments on there. You can grade. So basically, you would have to create it on the computer. But then let's say, for example, you're going to the doctor's office and you're going to be away from the internet. What you can do is you log on with your iPad app, you download the assignments, and even if you're offline, you can grade using, it's basically the same thing as on here on your iPad. And then you come back to school and you sync it up and it will upload them for you. Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much for watching. If you have questions and you go to Roxbury, come find me. If not, put a comment here and maybe I'll be able to answer it for you. So I hope this helps you out, and have a great day. Thanks a lot. Bye.